Bootab, 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 bootab. This is, I'm sorry, I'm so out of it right now. This is my reaction rant to The Flash, Season 3, Episode 2, titled Paradox, which I thought was pretty cute what they named the second episode to be Paradox, because the first episode's titled Flashpoint, yet put them together, it's Flashpoint Paradox. So I was like, that's adorkable. That is cute. Good job on naming the first two episodes of Season 3. But anyway, if you don't understand why I think that's cute, read the comic and watch the animated movie, literally titled Flashpoint Paradox. You'll understand why. But anyway, this is episode 2, and Barry learns more about the changes that happened after he attempted to restore the timeline. Because remember, he created Flashpoint after he went back in time to save his mother. And he pretty much lived in this new Flashpoint timeline for like at least 6 months where both of his parents are alive. He just met Iris and started dating her. Cisco was a billionaire inventor and Caitlin was an eye doctor for kids. Like, that was what he was living with, and then he realized stuff was, and also Wally was Kid Flash. He was working alongside his sister. But, stuff happened, like, there was another speedster named the Rival that was, Wally's, bad guy, and, Wally ended up getting hurt, and Barry realized that the changes he made for himself pretty much are hurting the people around him, so he had no choice but to go back in time and allow Reverse Flash to kill his mom, restoring the timeline. But unfortunately, when it restored the timeline, it didn't restore completely. There were still some changes, except, like, for example, in the end of the end of episode 1, Barry finds out, his dad's still dead, his mother's still dead, Wally and Joe are still there, but he found out that this small change, one of the major changes was the fact that Iris and Joe have not spoken in years now. And, apparently the reason for that is Iris actually mentions in the episode the reason why she hasn't spoken to her father in this new timeline is because she has not forgiven Joe for not telling her that her mother was alive, right? And, another thing that has changed is that Barry has a new CSI partner named Julian Albert, who apparently does not like or trust Barry at all, right? And I thought it was so awesome because Julian Albert is played by none other than Harry Potter's own Tom Felton, the guy who played Draco Malfoy. And I was so geeking out and squealing like a fangirl because I am total Harry Potter fan base right here. And to see Tom Felton there, oh my god, that was so beautiful. It made me happy inside. I'm not even kidding with you guys. I was like, stay there forever. Or bring another Harry Potter person into this besides yourself. I bring in more Harry Potters. Flash, heck, even Arrow, Supergirl, or Legends of Tomorrow. Any of you guys. Hang on for a sec. Sorry about that, guys. I was watching something, but yeah, the new CSI partner, totally geeking out, because it's played by Tom Felton. So, Flash, by all means, bring more Harry Potter people on. Arrow, Legends of Tomorrow, heck, even Supergirl, please, by all means, bring some Harry Potter people on. I will be so happy if that happened. But anyway, another thing we find out is, because of Barry's meddling, and, despite the fact that he tried to restore the timeline, another thing that changed, unfortunately, was Cisco's life, which really broke my heart because apparently Cisco's brother Dante was killed by a drunk driver. And Barry found out by following Cisco to, like, one of those help groups. How, like, some groups, like alcoholic groups who are trying to recover, they're like in a group, they sit in a circle and all that. Yeah, Cisco was pretty much in one of those, talking about how his brother died and how much he misses him. And apparently, in this alternate timeline, Cisco was constantly asking Barry to go back in time to save Dante from the drunk driver, but Barry refused to go back in time, right? And so, yeah, that's why he's been completely avoiding Barry in this new timeline, apparently, because of that. And, Barry, realizing all the stuff that he did wrong, decides, maybe if I go back in time and try to reset again, all these bad stuff will happen. Iris and Joe will be okay, Dante will be alive, and all that stuff. But as he's trying to go and try to fix the timeline again, he gets intercepted in 1998 by none other than Earth 3's own Jay Garrick, aka the Flash of Earth 3. They're sitting in a diner and talking, and Jay tells Barry that the timeline never resets exactly the way you want it. No matter what. If you go back in time and try to reset the timeline, it's never going to be exactly the same way it was before you screwed it up. Yeah. But anyway, it does make sense because, no matter how many times you reset the timeline, some things are just never going to be the same, and I knew that for a while, but it's a good thing that Jay actually told Barry about it and told him, you can't keep running away, you can't keep, every time something bad happens, you can't just keep constantly going back in time and try to fix it, because Barry, every time you go back in time, something bad always happens. I mean, you did that with the crossover with Arrow, you did that here with Flashpoint. Stop going back in time, Barry. You're screwing up everything. But anyway, Jay pretty much tells him, it'll never reset exactly the way it was. And also the fact that he tells Barry, you have to learn to live with your mistakes. You can't keep constantly going back in time every time something goes wrong. You have to live with the mistakes you made. And that's very solid advice. Good job, Jay Garrick. I love you. I want to see more of you in season 3. Because you are a wonderful man. But anyway, remember in the last episode that guy Claris? What was his name? Edward Claris. Remember he got woken up by a voice? And that voice apparently scratched on Claris's mirror alchemy, right? And we got the hint that Dr. Alchemy was making an appearance. And apparently Claris has visions of his Flashpoint life, because Barry, and manages to locate the person responsible to talking to him the night before, which was Dr. Alchemy. Well, he goes by Alchemy, but apparently this guy restores Claris's Flashpoint powers as a speedster and his memories as well. But we also get this interesting thing where we actually see Barry, Joe, and Julian working together, and apparently there are these husks. You know how, it's kind of like I'm gonna make an example. Like snakes when they shed their skin, and you look at the skin, it kind of does still look like a snake, but it's just a snake skin. Yeah, they're seeing those. They've seen at least 4 to... This is the 5th one they found, apparently, in this episode, and these husks, instead of snakes, they look like human skin. It's like this human was like a snake. It's like it shed its skin and just left it there. It looks like a human snake skin thingy, right? And this 5th one apparently is actually Claris's, and apparently that happened when Alchemy restored his Flashpoint powers and memories. So this Alchemy guy has the power to give powers and memories. I don't know. It's an interesting power that this Alchemy guy has. But apparently, Barry, he decides to come clean with the team. He invites all of them over. I'm not going to get into too much detail, but I'm going to go with major points. But Barry gathers the team inside Star Labs, Cisco, Caitlin, Wally, Joe, and Iris. He gathers them together and tells them what he did after, losing his father, the fact that he went back in time, created the Flashpoint timeline, and then decided to go back in time and hang on. Sorry about that. Anyway, Barry tells the team what he did, creating the Flashpoint timeline, and then going back to try to reset the timeline, but instead of, he even put it on a board. The normal timeline was 1 line, and then he showed the second line, which was Flashpoint, and unfortunately when he tried to go back and, reset everything, he created a 3rd timeline where, Cisco's brother died, Joe and Iris aren't speaking, the new CSI, Julian. And, of course, they're kind of mad about it, especially Cisco, because he's like, you went in time because you were in pain with your family problem, but you wouldn't go in time for my brother. And the reason why my brother's dead is because you went back in time and then reset everything, and now my brother's dead and all that stuff. So Cisco's really pissy about that. But at the same time, they find out about Clarice, and Barry figures out where Clarice was and ends up at an abandoned warehouse to confront him, right? And during that moment, Iris, Joe, Wally, Caitlin, and Cisco, they're still at Star Labs. Iris is trying to convince him, yes, Barry screwed up the timeline. He screwed up a good chunk of our lives. I haven't spoken to my father in years over something stupid. Cisco lost his brother. But it's Barry. He made a mistake. We all have skeletons in our closet. We all make mistakes and all that stuff. And Caitlin joins into that speech. And, it's good that at least Iris is literally on Barry's side, despite the fact that he screwed up. And it kind of screwed up her relationship with her father. You know what I mean? But, Barry confronts Clarice at the abandoned warehouse where Clarice you see that he has regained his powers and memories as the rival. He's in suit and everything, and they're fighting, and unfortunately, Clarice was not alone. He brought Alchemy with him to the abandoned warehouse, where Alchemy actually says that he is going to find everyone who had powers in Flashpoint and give them back their powers and memories, because he's preparing the world for a future event. So something is happening in the either near or far future that Alchemy knows about, and he's getting he's making as many meta-humans as possible, especially the ones from Flashpoint, to prepare for this incident, apparently. And, unfortunately, with Alchemy gets the better. Well, not Alchemy, Clarice, aka Rival, gets the better of, Flash with the help of Alchemy, of course, but Cisco manages to arrive with his cool shades, his, vibe shades, but he also has these cool gauntlets on that manages to help create this, power to, blow people off, right? Which I think is really cool. And so Cisco pretty much arrives to help Barry defeat Clarice, and Clarice ends up being incarcerated in Iron Heights. As you can see, Iron Heights is all they remade Iron Heights to basically hold metahumans now, just like the particle accelerator used to do, which I thought was really cool to see. And the team together determines that Alchemy is creating other metahumans from Flashpoint, like I said, in order to do, I don't know what future event is causing Alchemy to pretty much get metahumans from Flashpoint. I don't know what could possibly happen, but that's apparently what he's doing. And, it was cool because Iris and Joe end up reconciling, which I thought was really cool. And the cool thing was Cisco and Barry also reconcile, and Barry actually tells Cisco, that was really cool what you did. It'd be really cool if we could tag team together as a team. And Cisco actually, actually considers it, and it's so awesome because Cisco is getting more steps closer to becoming the superhero vibe that we all know and love in the comics, and I'm really happy about that. I'm really upset what happened to Dante, because I was really hoping, we'd see more of that Cisco-Dante brotherly bond, strengthen, but unfortunately he's gone now, and that just breaks my heart so much. But, for all we know, though, the only thing that changed was Joe and Iris' relationship was bad for years. Cisco lost his brother and the new CSI Julian. And of course, Alchemy, right? But what we didn't see until the end was the fact that Caitlin was also affected by this new timeline that Barry created when he tried to, renew the timeline. Caitlin, which I pretty much predicted because episode 7 is literally titled Killer Frost. And we actually see why, because at the end of the episode, Caitlin, when she's by herself in Star Labs, she revealed to have Cyrokinetic powers, aka ice powers, which means she is now Killer Frost, you guys. This alternate timeline reset has made her into Killer Frost, which I think is awesome, and I can't wait for episode 7. But also, Barry and Iris officially, finally, after 2 seasons of nothing, finally, episode 2 of season 3, Barry and Iris are finally starting a romantic relationship. And also, Clarice ends up getting attacked by, I believe, Alchemy in his cell. So I am looking forward to seeing Cisco becoming more... Oh my god, I'm running out of time. I'll see you guys soon.